Hi everybody, it's Bloody Mary, and I want you to take a look at a little class about the Earth Spirits. Earth Spirits, spells, and a splash of magic. Stay tuned to the end for a little bit of inside info on High John the Conqueror Route 2. So these are some classes that I had from COVID times that I was doing online, some Zoom classes restructured for you. Please feel free to comment and ask me questions in the comments, and I will get back to you. And this is the Bloody Mary show about the Earth Spirits, the Loas, and a few spells.
In the Earth magic. There are many Earth spirits in Voodoo, in my Haunted Museum and Voodoo Temple in the French Quarter in New Orleans. And we are talking about some of the Earth spirits, Earth magic, the Earth Loas today, and the Earth spells. We are creatures of the earth, therefore that's our element that we really have to connect with and honor where we live. Specifically where we live, the spirit of place and the earth of where you are. Also going to other sacred sites and places all over the world, bringing something from where you live to there and from there back to you. That is all part of it as well. I gathered a few things today. Some earth from Congo Square across the street. Across the street from where I am on Rampart in New Orleans was Congo Square, Congo Plains, now part of Louis Armstrong Park. It was the only free meeting place for the slaves in all of North America, where they did open voodoo rituals, dances, music, and set up market to sell things that they created and that they had to earn money to buy their freedom. It was a microcosm of what was going on in Africa, and it was not matched anywhere else in the New World that we know of, and absolutely nowhere else in this country. It also became partially the birthplace of jazz and blues, but the marketplace is very important. It's important for you to know that in Africa, there were highly industrialized markets. It wasn't all tribal crazy life that anybody tends to think of. There were highly industrialized markets in which women were in charge of the marketplace there, and they were in charge of the marketplace here. We have a spirit in Voodoo that we call Ayazan. She is the wife of Loco. Loco is the one that gives you the rattle, the asan, when you become a priestess. Loco and Ayazan. This is the power within the herbs and the power of the marketplace. So that is good for you to know. And when I give offerings, I brought some, we will feed them, and I will go back and give more to them at the trees or where we got the earth from. But I wanted to collect a variety of different earths to do kind of an earthworks, so to speak, in Voodoo in this session today, which you can do with some earth. Your mud nearby, bring her on in. So we're going to do a mud bath, so to speak. However, Ayazan and Loco. Ayazan is the first mambo, the first priestess, okay? And she's also in charge of the marketplace. She has palms and hearts of palms as offering. Color is white and metal is silver. Ayazan is very important if you're trying to bless, say, a market, a new business. Ayazan is definitely there. So we want to be part of Ayazan. She has a veve, and if I can see what happened to my chalk, I will make you a veve. It's not a chalk. Let's see. Things are hiding from me. Well, I have some brick chalk, but that would not be the right thing to make Ayazan's veve out of. It would be good for Granny Bo, but it would not be good for Ayazan since her colors are white. So I'm going to use white chalk. Her husband, Loco Ayazan, is syncretized with St. Joseph, and St. Joseph altars are very big in New Orleans. I was trying to see if you could see them. So I got little St. Joseph that's here at my side. I'm going to wrap some offerings in a banana leaf. So it's a biodegradable kind of packet that we'll leave out as an offering. I have some different foods and some different things here and some different earths. And Ayazan, let's see, her veve is 2 V's. Hold on. There you go. To start with. And then we may have the horns on the edges. See how we do that? And then we'll put one down here. Connect this together. Take a palm leaf. Do ritual for her. We shred the thin leaves of the palm. We use it to spray and sprinkle with holy water and such. We hide under them, dress under them. This would be for Ayazon. So she is the queen of the marketplace. We put the little stars all around too. So that's a crisscross and a cross, an X and a cross, like an asterisk all the way around. Those are power points. Ayazon, queen of the marketplace. We drew her veve. But again, everything starts with Papa Laba. I just did that to show you at the beginning. So to be official, Papa, open the gates, leg, by the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, the Maras, and the mysteries of the Mort. Towards the doors, 3 drops of water for you. We call you through. Passaporte, leg, let the spirits through. Mambo Ayazon, Mambo Ayazon. May our markets all be fruitful. Will you please open and come there? So Ayazon's name actually means sacred earth, so it's very important to talk about her today. We'll give her a little honey and some offerings that are in here. We'll give offerings to both Loco and Ayazon in the banana leaf. So she likes earthen mounds that also refer to the ancestors. So there's the first mound builders and earthen mounds right here. This is a crawfish mud hole. They can get very, very, very tall. I use some of them as candle holders, okay? But the local Native American Indians believe all life evolved out of the crawfish mud hole. So this is a rebirthing, reconstituting earth that is brought up deep, deep from under as the crawfish burrow and kick back and spit into their little claws as they're digging the tunnel and come out another hole after they dug in. And the rain follows. Mound builders, the very first. So this is very important, crawfish mud hole. So I have a little bowl over here, and I'm putting some of that earth in it. Our earth is very clay-like, so that's why it's snapped off like that. Another thing that's earth here is brick dust. Even though that's more for the fiery spirits, I just want you to know that this is another, that's why this is here. It's also earth, and we're going to use that for the fiery Congo/petro aspects of earth. But we're going to use the cooler aspects for Ayazon, and percent going to remember to put the earth from Congo Square. And I'm just mixing it in a little bowl here. Blue, white, these colors are good for Ayazon, and the green will work because it's the green of the leaves, right? And it's about all the nourishment and all the healing and the medicine in the leaves. So brown and green is the color of Loco, and he is St. Joseph. Also because he's a carpenter, so we have our St. Joseph candle here. St. Joseph's Day is huge in New Orleans, Mark, and you make huge, elaborate, edible altars in your home, and he will always protect your home. So kind of, you know, he is the carpenter, so wood goes with St. Joseph, and that makes sense. And he's the great father and all that. So I'm taking some of the earth that we recently acquired, Congo Square, and I'm mixing it with the crawfish mud hole earth. I'm going to put clay, and I'm going to, of course, add the sacred water to the mix. And I'm going to stir that, mush it up a little bit if I can. Make me a mud pie. It needs a little more water. I'm going to put a dot of honey in there too. So that's going to be sticky. So I put that, and I'm going to take local honey as close to your house as you can get. Let the bees do that work of the gathering of all the flowers and the herbs that are nearby. Bring its medicinal powers in, and we're mixing that in with the earth and the mud. So that way we're making a paste that we can use for a variety of things, from anointings, for mud baths, for candles, for gree-grees, for wandas, if you will, but gree-grees mainly, and other healing tools that we are making. So, St. Joseph / Loco. So, Papa Loco, it is you that gave me the asan. When you gave to me, you told me to keep it in my heart. I have fallen, I have gotten up, it's still in my heart. I have fallen, I have gotten up, it's still in my heart. Sinners of this earth who use it as a dagger one day will be stabbed by it. You should use the power of your asan for good. There's usually a dance, a fight, if you will, between the machete and the asan, and kind of showing you that the asan is more powerful as the one wielding the machete kneels down and kisses the hilt and succumbs to the power or the sacredness of the mambo and the Ngan. Ngan is the name of the male priest, and of course that would be, of course, Ngan would be Loco. Now, he'll give you the asan. That's the highest level that you could get in Haitian voodoo, and it's awarding you an asan. A bell is attached to a rattle, and it's not just a bell and a rattle. You could go buy a bell and a rattle. It's not going to be the same thing. It goes through all the initiations with you, and it's asan, and well, it's mainly that of Loco, who's actually handing, giving, honoring this. So there's songs. There's some in Haitian voodoo, which I will send you, but I read you the translation of it. Sometimes it's hard to read the songs when you don't know what they mean, and it's, you know, but Papa Loco, Sioki Banan Asan. So that is what we were just saying. And so you saw the Ayazan is over here. That is the Ayazan. Vebe. Here's another version of it for you. Ayazan here. Loco here. And I drew some over here on a chalkboard of all of the male earth spirits that we're going to deal with after we do this. So as we open the way to the spirits that are here today, we would like to feed you. We'd like to give you something from the heart. The asan is in our heart. The food is there too. For both Loco and Ayazan, we use the cornmeal, which I'm also going to put a pinch of inside those other earths that we're mixing together with the honey. That is for fertility, for growth, for abundance. It is the element of earth, and cornmeal is used for everything. And I have a bit of cornmeal that I put in there. I am going to put this back here, even though it's at an angle, is a slight possibility. Slight possibility I might be able to put stuff in it without it falling over. So we're going to try. I'm going to make a little simple V with that mud and like a little bebe for Ayazan. I'm going to put a blessed, which I make in the four corners, right? Up, down, left, right. A pinch of cornmeal. I am going to give food, and the food I'm going to give is some artichoke hearts. Hearts of palm are also good. We have food that is there as well. I'm going to give a little bit more honey because you want to sweeten everything up. A tiny, tiny bit of water because I don't want to make a giant mess. Tiny bit of perfume. All right. And then we're going to offer it up, down, left, right, drop it, catch it, so it slips between the whirls. I'm going to fold a piece of that over, and it, whoops, and it's starting to spill, and another piece of it into each other, and fold it back over like so. I'm going to fold down the leaf on top of it, so I actually have made it a square in there and fold it in front. And I'm going to take a little bit of this jute. I use hemp, I use jute, I use cotton. I use a lot of natural fibers, and I'm simply going to tie it, wrap it 3 times, and make a 3 knots, 3 wishes. Now I could slip a note in there or prayer if I had a particular thing that I was after, but this is just an offering so that the spirits know that we're still thinking about them, right? And to help feed them on all the jobs they have to do of all the fixing. So I just made a nice little biodegradable packet that I can go leave under the trees out at the altars, and I'll just put that over here for now. Put St. Joseph right on top of it, We're actually going to put St. Joseph upside down in that crawfish mud hole. Now, a lot of people don't understand that. They thought it was a punishment. I think that's the way some people look at it. But Marie Laveau and many others, when they were working with the spirit, and they put the spirit to work, he was upside down on his head while the working was going on. So I have a mini St. Joseph statue here. I have the candle, which is possibly going to be able to stay like that. And I have the eye is on Bebe, as well as the Bebes that I made for Loco and other earth spirits. Now, again, we sing for the spirits, we dance for the spirits, we feed the spirits, we dream with the spirits, cook for them, and you work with them. You have to realize how much voodoo is a nature-based religion. You know, as I mentioned previously, I believe there's one supreme God, intermediary deities, generally known as the mysteries, the Loas, the Voodoos with a little V, lots of little names to them. Different tribes have different names, like there's the Orisha for the Yoruba, etc., etc. So it's very nature-based. So there's the Loas, the exalted ancestors, and the nature spirits. In a way, you might say that they're the elementals, where they're attached and within and alive with the life and the spirits that are in the trees and the herbs and the waters. You know, so there is a life, an animated force, you might say. Then Loco is a very important one. He's like, you know, the director of all the powers of the actual, that make the herbs do what they're supposed to do to heal you. Very important to connect, because we want to heal community, self, world, everything. So Loco and Ayazan will then turn that into a viable working workplace, marketplace. So Earth from Congo Square is a very important thing on that. I'm going to take a little of that and put a little bit of dot on my third eye, and that's just a little bit of the mud. I'm going to save that mud, put it on an altar, and use it to dot gree-gree, certain dolls that have to do with the power of the herbs, and also leave it very near some of the herbs themselves. If I'm selling a bunch of herbs or using a bunch of herbs for whatever I'm making, whether it's a gree-gree bag or a tea for a healing or whatnot, you want the inside of that to be alive and awakened. Once or twice a year, and in the middle, when we get reorders, of course, we have to heat up the herbs to awaken the spirit force that's in it, remind it to, you know, sometimes it's dormant until we activate and direct it. And there are many different spirits that are in and around the herbs, not just one herb, one spirit, 3, 4 herbs in one spirit. Sometimes just one, sometimes just 2, and you want to activate them to get full use out of it so that it can give all the healing and share its spiritual properties as well as its physical healing properties with you. So we honor the spirits first. In this case, it's Loco and Ayazan. They are also the ones that make the priest and priestess, Imambo and the Hungan, and they are the Rada or the cool spirits. And we use local ingredients to kind of activate them, for they would be inside there. Now, speaking of herbs, I mean, there's always an herb, and there's always some form of, I'll give you usually one a week, but that I'll tell you the spirit name and how to contact them. There's one in New Orleans, which is the most potent voodoo and hoodoo herb anywhere, all right? And if I could get this phone that I took the picture to read it to you right up, I will, but I don't know what, I had it all queued up. There we go. Many of you have heard of it. If not, you should know our friend. That is High John the Conqueror root. Sometimes you see interesting faces, and this one seems to be a female High John the Conqueror. The males look a little bit more phallic. They're long and skinny, and the rounder ones are the female ones. They need to be fed. They need to be activated. They need to be used. It's the most powerful root. You always want to carry one. Sorry about that. I guess Johnny was working for me backwards. But I'm going to say it one more time. Be nice, Johnny. Work for me, Johnny. Work for me, Johnny. Yeah, I guess there was a trouble with the internet. I usually have pretty good internet here. However, I'm going to go back to what I was trying or hoping to read to you. So anyway, he wants to be fed, I guess, and he usually likes sugar. I have to give him some honey because I don't give her honey. I don't have any regular sugar or oil over here today, but we're going to give it a little bit so it won't just be sitting there without any food and being talked about like it's not there. That's not right. You must give respect to the root. You carry the root. This root will protect you. Some roots are known to do everything for you. But I was giving him a little bit of my energy there. And this would be high, John. And yeah, you carry it in a bag, or you carry it in your pocket. You rub it when you gamble. You rub it when you get the job. You rub it when you need help. You rub it when you need your mojo going, as Muddy Waters would say. But there are many different spirits and many different colors. It is known as the most powerful root in voodoo, and most of the things written about old voodoo is all about New Orleans, and unless it was written from another country. So it's considered the strongest root. It's for protection, luck, and uncrossing. Kana. Kana is the name of what the spirit's in here. Kana's color is purple. This is to use all those things together, protection and uncrossing. There's more than one spirit on this lovely root here. By the way, this is the root of the morning glory. It is also in the same family that is a root of a few other things like forget-me-nots and, interestingly enough, the sweet potato plant, which is all over the French Quarter. You cannot miss the sweet potato plant with its long and luxurious vines. Because of its abundance, many people think that maybe the High John the Conqueror root used so much in these days was from that particular plant. But traditionally, people use the jalap, as it is known, High John. Now, if you wanted to use this for great luck in gambling, fertility, prosperity, protection, the color is green, and the name is Kana Ma, green. This is the one you take gambling. You give it a little of that whiskey. You rub it with some sugar so that the abundance and the sweetness comes to you. You have a couple of different choices, and we soak them in oil a lot of times that we have them here, and then we use that oil from its essence as well. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different spirits that are attached to that. Most people would use those two, the green and the purple more, but there's one for uncrossing love, which is red, and that's Kana-T. Kana-T. So if you're using this for love reasons, and, you know, this is a powerful root. It can be to hold and grasp your sexuality as well as other things. So this would be High John, and it's important for you to know your roots. So this is the herb of the day, the hoodoo capital herb that we got here, except it's a root. So it's hard. Boom. It's like a hard nut, right? And they come in various sizes. You need to feed them, you carry them, and you talk to them, and you work with them, and you rub them. Work for me, Johnny. Don't mess up with the screen again. And you can kiss it if you want to. So that would be a little break there. Voodoo, High John. So anyway, we are here and we're talking about earth spirits, earth spells, and the Loas in voodoo that give you the Asan, and more in Haitian voodoo would be Loco and Ayasan. Now that's your cool, that's your Rada. Those are those particular spirits. I'm going to, St. Joseph is still over there, but the candle did not stay lit on its side. It was an attempt at that, so I'm going to take him and, oh wait, maybe it did. Felt like it was still burning. We'll put him over here. As I said, my mother was a St. Joseph nun before she married my dad. So we went to the St. Joseph altars every year, and we always knew about the beauty of St. Joseph. It was mainly here and in Sicily that the huge and glorious edible altars that can sometimes be 2 and 3 stories tall are part of St. Joseph's Day. He will protect the home. And it's actually a way that I have used for years. It was told to, you know, you want to keep evil spirits out of your house. St. Joseph will take care of that. Take care of that for you, too. So you make a St. Joseph altar every year. And then sometimes the food that's on the altar goes to the poor. Sometimes you sell the food, money goes to the poor. Churches have, it's a very beautiful, incredible altar decor that the food becomes the altar itself. Voodoo is big with that, and so is Catholicism, especially in Sicily and in here. we had the largest Sicilian immigration in the country. So there's a lot of old world Sicilian magic, strega and such, that mixed in with New Orleans voodoo and other European magics that came here, especially a lot of the Celtic magic. We also had the earliest and largest Irish immigration in the country. European magic in general, the French and beyond, added in on top of the African shamanism and the Native American Indian shamanism that was already here. And of course, Catholicism, both Roman Catholic and folk Catholic traditions, are in New Orleans. You will find St. Joseph buried upside down in the yard doing something that you would do here for real estate agents when they want to sell a house. Now, what they don't tell you, you should pour a little food down in that hole before you put St. Joseph in there. And then when you sell a house, you go dig it back up and you take him with you, right? So you feed down in the earth. In fact, anytime that you're outside, if you don't have the biodegradable access packet that we made with food for the spirits, you would dig a hole, put the offering of food in the hole, cover it back up so the spirits of the earth will be able to access it easiest. So dig a hole, bury the food, etc. So I wanted us to remember those things. So that is Rada. That would be the cool spirits, the early Dahomey aspect of spirits that came over here in the slave trade. However, the Congo, which in Haitian voodoo is called Petro, here in New Orleans voodoo it's called Congo. The Congo derivative is a more fiery lot. We may use the brick dust for that instead of just chalk. And I have this is a little Spanish moss alligator that we have as our totem watcher here today. This is also known as horsehair. It's very dense, and that's made by a local Houma Native American Indian tribe. And we're going to have that as I put this down, and I'll put the gator over here watching the brick. And we have eyes on that is up there. However, I made 3 other little babies. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, I got to put you down here like that. Maybe not. Can you see those that I did here?
Yes.
All 3? Well, this is Grambois. He's the Petro version of the fire that is in all of the herbs and the trees. Grambois actually means forest. His wife is Grand Ebo. And where is Grand Ebo? Why is not she there? She's not there. Well, I'll show her after. That's Grand Ebo. This is Loco again. And over here is Zaka. That is his like tote that he carries with a machete and a variety of other implements to till the land. It is the time of the harvest now in the wheel of the year, so we must call upon Loco. So, I'm sorry, not with Loco and Kuzan, who is Zaka. So these are just 3 other earth elements that are Veves and Loas that I thought I would mention while we were here. And I had put them all together down there earlier for you, and I will email you such things as well. Since we didn't have time to make tons of Veves while we're here, make sure you can see Marie back there. All right. Now, Grand Ebo is the swamp witch. She is the power between herbs. She's an ancient one. So I'm going to have a sequin Veve flag for her that I could just put right up there. Let's see if can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes. Stay. Grand Ebo. She is the wife of Grambois. Usually when you sing to Grambois, you're also calling upon her. She has a much more simplistic Veve that you can make out of cornmeal. I'm sorry, you can make it out of the brick dust or the cornmeal. And even though this is how it's supposed to be made, can you see that? It is like it's supposed to be a canary. It's a little bird. And I don't know if I exactly know why it's a little bird, but that is a little bird, and that is also a Veve. So there's the Veves that you make that are the like pictograms, pictures, or geometric designs. There's the sequin veves that Haiti is very fond of, and we like sequins here in New Orleans too. And that you could leave permanently over an area, and I have that here in the museum quite a lot. And we would call upon them. I am very much connected with Grandbois and Grand Ibo. New Orleans, as you all know, is a giant swamp, and swamp magic is at the core and at the root of it. But many areas in the world were once swamps and have that ancient chthonic energy, and she would keep all those mysteries and all of those secrets. So you would like to call upon Grandbois, Grand Ibo. Those are the more fiery versions, where Loco and Iazon are definitely the more cool versions. And as far as the nation of Ibu, Grand Ibo, the nation or the family would have baskets of herbs and all their powers. You would definitely need to give an extra dose of fire to those to waken them up, and would give them offerings. So the power that's in the herbs, the power that's in the leaves, the power that's in the sticks, and I have bundles of sticks that are from many different trees, both here and in the Caribbean, that are used quite a lot in voodoo. We have the wood, we have the herbs, we have the earth, and we have the spirit that's within all of those. So I'm just going to give her some perfumes and spray some here and give some peanuts. So those are 4 or 5 different spirits. You would have Loco Iazon and Zaka being Rada, and you have Grandbois and Grand Ibo being the Congo Petro Ibo Nation spirits that we sing to. I walk through the forest and constantly sing to our wonderful Grandbois, and I am very much connected with him. So Grandbois, oh, Calamwen, Grandbois, oh, Calamwen, Grandbois, oh, Calamwen, Grandbois, oh, 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 Grandbois, oh, Calamwen, Grandbois, oh, Calamwen, Grandbois, oh, Calamwen, Grandbois, oh, oh, oh. All the spirits all around, to the power of the herbs, the nature spirits, the elementals that are all around, we call upon you to be part of us too. We want to connect. So if all of us can be still, if we can put our feet firmly planted in the ground, we're going to try to just connect with all of the Mother Earth energy and reconstitute ourselves, okay? So we're going to take a long, deep, slow breath and pull it in from the center of the earth, and like roots in our feet, we pull it all the way up through our body. In with a deep breath, slow. And also through the top of our head to connect the celestial bodies above, and back through us, down to the crown chakra, back to the earth, and out. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now we are made of water, we are made of blood, we are made of iron, we are made of love, we are made of liquid, and all those things that pulse through our veins can sometimes get tainted. We need to cleanse it again. We're going to take that deep breath in and out. And those roots that grew out of our feet that connect us as above and so below, we're going to act like pipes, and we're going to whoosh out everything that is within us. Everything that is liquid and blood, and anything that's not serving our highest good, we're going to leave behind. We're going to reconstitute, ask Mother Earth to cleanse us as well. So we're going to now visualize all that is our physical being whooshing through those roots, turning into pipes, going to the earth, the mantle, to the iron core, to the center, where Mother Earth, Lady Gaia, and Granny Bo are waiting evermore with their giant cauldron that is set aflame, and everything that is in us will go in our own pot again, and we push it all out. If it's stubborn, we may know that we have to push it through. More water to clear it through. All the way down. Some people mind, maybe it's me, maybe it's you, my left side's more sluggish. We've got to push it through and push it through, birth it out, if you might say. And now look inside your cauldron as it's bubbling and everything that's in you is in there again. Look over the shoulders of Granny Bo and Mother Earth, and we're stirring the pot and stirring the pot so anything that's wrong will float up on top. We're there, that's not serving our highest good. They scoop out the lumps, the problems, the fears that are there, the things that we cannot process, have to get out of there. We pour in some herbs and some salves and such so that it's smooth and liquidy, rich and full of love. We look through there, and like a centrifuge, it will start spinning round and round and round, and anything that is not serving our highest good will stay back and down and go into the earth and grow anew, and all the good stuff now sucks back into you, all the way through the earth, the mantle, the iron core, all the way back up through your legs, through those pipes, which are roots attached evermore to the legs, to the knees, which now only bend when you so please, up through the thighs, to the back, to the base of the spine, where the sacred Kundalini sits and waits to climb. Awaken, I say, it is now time, slowly but surely up the spine with the perfect curvature all the way up to the jade gate. The back of your neck. Open this. This is where you're waving particle. This is you, that spirit that might need to be redone. This may need to be re-ironed. This goes up back to the heavens above, the celestial realm, where now any electrical parts that are fizzled out will be rewired and refixed again. And then as the angels are doing that for you, you're open, and it comes back to you, back to the jade gate, which slams shut. The four archangels guard evermore. You are protected and balanced once more, all the way to the crown chakra, which now spouts like Labaline the whale, a rainbow light of energy that will prevail. Breathe out. Shake around. We do carry a lot of our hurts, our pains, our disappointments, and our triumphs inside our body. Usually the ones that are not for the positive change, we hide and shame around, and it festers and hides behind little dark shadows, and it pops out at the most inconvenient times. Times like this, when there's global pandemics, when there's problems, when other things pop in our way. That's when all those little niggly things that are all hiding in your body that you so carefully tucked away come out and gang up on you. You must purge them, release them, cleanse them, rebirth them, get them out of your body so they don't cause any dis-ease or disease. For where they are, you might have, more of an ache, because we tuck things away where we should not. So we're going to process that. Hopefully we let it out. Each aspect of us that needs to be fixed differently, I ask for the assistance of both Granny Bo and Mother Earth, who are kind of sort of the same, and we then bring it back up, fixed up. Sometimes these things might cause a little tiny bit of a nightmare, or ideas, or something that might pop out from a spiritual mental component of what we were hiding after we do such things. So I would suggest that a lot of you take a salt bath. Salt is still my big favorite. I got a whole bunch of salt, and there's earth salt, and there's sea salt, and there's all kinds of different salts from different areas that can do things. And you would always try to follow through in the physical plane what we do in guided meditation ritual journeys, because they are very real, but you've got to bring it back and manifest it in the now. The earth, we left some things down in the earth, we brought some things back from the earth, and we want to take, a cleansing bath and rid that away. If you could do your mud bath when you do a bath, add a little bit of the earth from your area, and you put it in the tub with you. That'll be part of your mud bath. You could, also put a dot in the center of your face, like I was saying there. Do go out and do these homeworks. I haven't assigned it officially and checked in on you, but I'll know anybody who wants to go to more advanced classes if they're doing that, making a little box of things that you're collecting for each of the Loas and the spirits, making your ancestral altar, whether it stays up permanently or whether it comes up and goes down. Gathering your earths. If you could get some earth from the house that you were born in, your native soil, just in case you become a vampire later, you will need your native soil. So gather your native soil. No, your birth house is very important. If you can't, hey, it's okay. But if you can, usually people are pretty nice. If you say, knock, 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 I was born here, I need some dirt, you go there. I also believe in collecting dirt from where your ancestors are buried, right? So that's for your ancestral altars. Earth from sacred sites of your hometown. Earth maybe from, let's say, a church that you were baptized in, a school that you were brought up in, favorite places in the world, like the favorite creek, forest, whatever it may be. Put them in little jars and label them. You want your earths around. So that earth from Congo Square, I use it in certain creative, especially in creative bundles that I'm trying to help people in Gregory's for, because there's a lot of music and dance and poetry and art there, as well as money and spirituality and all sorts of other things. So you want to use the earths. Now you can use the earths of, maybe there was a war site. Maybe you might need that for something. So positive, negative, whatever it is, you write down. You go ahead and get as many of the earths as you can when you're on your trips. If you have a friends or family at a different area, send them to do the mission. Please go get some earth from Grandpa's grave. Mail it to me. Don't need a lot, I was grabbing some earth today. I was like, okay, this is from my great-great-grandma's plantation. I almost grabbed it and said, no, not today. We'll do that another time when we're doing ancestral stuff. Okay, I went to my birth house. I went and knocked on that dude's door and said, hey, I had a dream last night about my earth. I need my native soil. He's like, oh, yeah, I remember your daddy selling us this house. Same people, kind of interesting. So, you learn a lot when you go do these things. I get the crawfish mud hole in different areas, usually not just at the edge of a swamp, but sometimes I also find them popping up in graveyards. They're also supposed to be where all life evolved from, so that seems very apropos. I'll use those particular ones as candlesticks or in different kinds of grigris than I will on the other. But either way, all of them have their purpose, right? So I have different earths, and I suggest that you just get a little box for your earths and put them in. Just like I have a whole cabinet of waters from around the world. Get a few of your earths. You don't have to go so far as me and get them from all around the world, but from your favorite rivers, favorite spots, places that have to do with your birth and your bloodline's birth. Let's say your whole family here came from Luxembourg, and you get to go to Luxembourg. You get some water from Luxembourg. You get some earth from the oldest cemetery there. You might not know where your ancestors are, but you knew they came from that country, right? So you go ahead and you get that, and you bring something from your home now there to leave behind. Whether it's sprinkling a little earth, whether it's bringing something else, from your home. You're kind of making an exchange, and that trip from they made it to here and you make it back to theirs, really honoring the ancestral bloodline. So work with earths, mix them in your workings, on your candles, if you make grigri bags, mojo bags, paquettes. I make little swamp magic vials that have the water and the smallest aquatic plant in there and a piece of a gator, and that brings that energy up when we're going there, right? Especially now, you can't travel to all these places. You have them with you, so to speak, in what you have collected. So earth is definitely part of that. Waters were last week. Earth will do, and the fire we talked about, and we'll talk about air energy as well. Stones and bones. Stones and bones are of the earth. Now, New Orleans is weird. I told you, we don't have any rocks. No stones. No pebbles. Natural here. What we have is shells. Clam shells that were taken out by I don't know, by the ton out of the lake. Every street, every parking lot growing up here was made out of these shells. I definitely go out of my way to collect these particular, and these are ancient shells. They made it illegal around the 1980s to dredge them out of the lake. It wasn't good for erosion purposes, but there are miles and miles of them under Lake Pontchartrain and a lot of towards some of the bayous and such. And they, what we made our limestone out of was ground oyster shells and clam shells. So without that, we use this to mix to make mortar for our bricks, as well as to put in some of the bricks. So I got oyster shells and clam shells, and sometimes we crunch those up. If you remember when I spoke to you about gree-gree, you're supposed to have animal, vegetable, and mineral matter. Many of you are used to using lots and lots of crystals, and many of them are natural, and where you're from, you should use those. They're not natural here. People actually came here and traded rocks for some of the things that we had that they didn't have. Like, for example, we still have the largest salt domes in the world, as well as sulfur, the largest sulfur mines anywhere too. So our brimstone is pretty big here, and I use our brimstone, and I use our earth salt as well. People would trade for salt. Salt was money, right? And they would trade rocks. So when people come here to do workings, rituals, or get married with me, I say, bring me rock. You know, that's what they did a long time ago. That's still recognized by the spirit of place as an important trade and barter substance. But if I'm making things from here about New Orleans magic, I use the rocks that were here, and all we got are these. We've got the shells. They were lining everything growing up, and they still could find them here and there. So I use the shells, and that's how I make the limestone, which is for purity and a variety of other things. So I use that quite a lot because of access. You use what you have in abundance around you, as well as other things that were imported in. So I will say to carry tourmaline for protection, and to carry, you know, natural magnets that we use to pull things to you. I mean, there's all sorts of things that we can acquire, but we also do use the things that were here most. So be familiar with the byproducts of the area of which you were born in and the area of which you live in that are natural and that were used by your forebears and the people and the Native American Indian tribes that were there before you. You must honor those spirits of place. Spirits of place, the earth spirits, are the ones that are providing you a place to live, a place to walk on, a place that you were born from. You need to respect and honor them. The waters that are there, we talked about last week with the earth that is there. And you go to those places, you feed them, and you really just kind of say hello. I'm very lucky here that we have the largest oak grove in the world, and to walk through these 10,000 oaks and sing to them and give them food and gather some of their offspring, even though it's not really offspring, like the moss and the resurrection fern. It's part of its earth too. So I thank them for giving me things that sustain me, and I want to give them things that sustain them. Bake a cake. These days, everybody knows how to bake sourdough. You can give them sourdough bread. You can bake them muffins, cookies, different things. They like when we create something out of what they gave us back. So my friend who's we talked to on, I think, my Instagram Lives and other shows, Orion, who does a lot of fairy work, will say they love peanut butter because we did something to the peanuts, right? They love the peanut butter. They love honey. We didn't do that, though. The bees did that. They love the mead, though, because that's with the honey as well. So show them, create for them, cook with them. It's important. This transformation is important. Using all the elements, because you're adding things. You're adding water. You're adding fire. Probably adding air as you're whipping it up and baking it. All these elements are inside what you're creating. And you're using the raw elements of the earth, of the herbs, of the flowers, as in F-L-O-U-R, as well as F-L-O-W. So all of those things are made, and the more you reciprocate, you give them something, they give you something. It's a relationship, not just here, I want this, and let me give you this. You're developing a relationship. You're honoring what they do. They're seeing what you do. We're trying to earn back the respect that we lost from the earth spirits for being very, very bad to them over the years, demonizing them, to say the least. So, Earth is very important for you to honor where you live. And I don't know who's not here today or someone buying later, but there's some people, I think there was somebody from Hawaii, and there's the whole fire Pele aspect of going on there, and there's different people. All the areas that you live in all have something. You can look at maybe your state flower, state industry, what's around you, and find what you need to recognize as an important part of your life. When you grow up somewhere, you have a tendency to take things for granted, and not really respecting it. And now is the time that we need to respect that stuff, right? We need to remember it. We need to awaken. We need to work with it so that whatever changes are going on or that are necessary to go on for us to survive as a human race and go forward, that we're working with the earth and not against it. Metals. Metals are also an important thing. I had mentioned that Iazon's metal is silver. Silver has always been used for healing. Silver ring has been used, kind of like a strange antibiotic, but to carry silver, even a silver dime was a big thing in 19th century hoodoo and still is. Try to get a seated liberty or an earlier one that was actually had silver in it. Carry it or wear it around your ankle. They would take that same dime and put it in water, and then you have a silver water that you can use to sprinkle on things to make it more of a holy water. Drink it as well. So you would have silver being a very important metal. Now you have gold being an important metal too, but of course, but you would want to use the metals if there's a lot of metals in your area. Copper was worth more than gold on the Gold Coast of Africa, and copper is extremely, extremely important for protection. But it's also for communication, because it's used in radios and everything like that, as is quartz and other type of stones that you use together for that type of stuff. But we're talking metals right now because remember, it's animal, vegetable, mineral, and metal, that you would put into these building blocks of life that we're making and remaking and agreeing. So we use pennies a lot, even though there's not a hell of a lot of copper left. There's a trace element. We use pennies a lot in voodoo. In fact, voodoo's were called the 3 penny people before they disallowed us that at Marie Laveau's grave. Was always leaving 3 pennies. That was for Papa Legba, by the way. And Marie Laveau always wanted to give 15 cents. Whether that was a dime and a nickel or 3 nickels, it didn't matter, but you had to give 15 cents for the hoodoo rides, and you pay that on top of whatever else you promised to do or give up. Remember that you have to pay. Remember that you can create food, as I mentioned. You can do a good deed, if that is it, or several good deeds that are appropriate to what you're trying to do in the world. But whatever you did, you added 15 cents on top of that, all right? So there might be coins of the realm involved, and they were made of metal. So that's an easy metal to get your hands on. It became super easy, and it was made a lot longer ago than what you think. Aluminum foil. It used to drive me baffing on why the hell there was foil all over the graveyard. You'd ask your mother, they'd say one thing, your grandma, they'd say another, somebody else would say something. It's like, what the hell? They wrap up bricks in it. They cover flower pots in it. There's foil everywhere. It's like, God, it's annoying. Why? Well, it's the shine. It's the bling. It's metal, but an affordable type to get that attention drawn to you, like the sequence is, too, is reflective of the stars and the cosmos above. Silver is like a metal. So we can use foil a lot in our grigris, in our magic works, and it is actually acceptable. No little foil hats in your head. It's not like that. It's to get that attention down. So that's a form of metal. Of course, we can use BBs for copper. We can use a lot of different things, but we use iron and a lot for the strength. And iron flows through our bodies. It's part of human nature as well. So we work with a lot of iron. Our brick dust has iron flecks in it. So our brick dust was equivalent to, I suppose, like what red granite was in a lot of other places. It has these combined elements that represent life, but you want the iron which is in your blood, color of red. So you use iron, you use metal, and that's part of earth. So earth magic, because that grows in the earth. Most of the time we think mainly of the leaves and the trees, but there's stones and bones in there too. So that's what I have to say, more or less, I guess, about the earth today, that there's a lot of spirits, more Loas than that. but it's sort of an animistic belief system. There's life in everything that's out there, and ancient cultures took the time to watch what this meant, to why this animal might go to this herb or this might go there, and they learned the liveliness of it and learned how to communicate with it and respect it even as they picked it, because they didn't take anything without giving something first. So you awaken the spirit, you ask it to help you in your endeavors, and you feed it or sing to it or whatever it is that you must do in order to communicate. The earth is very important for you to remember because you live on it, you were born of it, and you have to respect where you are and work specifically with your spirit of place, and then bring in other empowering spirit of place cleansings. Earth, I know, like for one thing, our earth was so tainted after Katrina. This poison water got all over it, all this stuff. And one of the things that I really needed to do on the 1-year anniversary of that particular event was to mix the old earth with some new cleared, cleansed earth, which I had sent from all over, and waken and cleanse what was there that was poisoned. Not with soap and water, but I used the energy of music and the energy of dance and the energy of this and that as we carry these packets of mixed earths around, exposing it to different things. Laughter is an extremely important healing element that I would go where there was laughter, and go where there was dance, and go where there was magic, and try to imbue it all in there and then pour it back at the places that were tainted at the levee break. So, creating rituals with other people around the world and other places at the same time to get that energy in. And right now we all have to go to our own crossroads. There is a crossroads ritual that I may have mentioned to you. I know I mentioned it on my YouTube show, that we usually do the first Saturday night before Easter. It's a crossroad cleansings ritual. The crossroads is earth. So I mentioned it to you before, I'll mention it again. I want each of you to go to a nearby crossroads. So just a cross in the roads, or a dead end, like a fork in the road, a cross in the roads, and you clean it up. You pray and sing at that crossroads. You scoop up the old dirt, the dirty dirt, sprinkle it with glitter, bang a gong, fire a firecracker to scare away anything negative, and then you would sing, dance, feed, go there with a candle, something to shake, and what you're doing is taking away the old and replacing it with something shiny and new. And that's what we need, something shiny and new to get us through this. If you just clear a crossroads by your house, maybe pick a day, maybe once a week, different crossroads wherever you are. We're doing the cleaning. We're asking for everything for the flow to come back unconstricted, which is what we need, is a flow. If nothing else, we're kind of forced to be stagnant, to be still, to be quiet, but we still want an energetic flow. There are some people that are setting up crystal grids in areas to bring energy where there used to be more flow before. There's so many different ways to do it, but we have to honor the earth, and we have to ask for the participation. We have to listen to our dreams. Please keep a dream journal, or a journal of interesting things or synchronicities that happen right after we do a course, right after you do a working at an altar. Work at your altar, work with your ancestors, work with Papa Lama, and then go in the order that we did. Use Damala Ayudawido in different sections, just so that you can start developing a relationship with them and learn to listen to how the relationship that you're developing with the spirits will unfold. It will unfold differently for each of us. You can dance if you want to by yourself. You can sit in that bathtub and meditate with the candle and watch the flickering of the light. But if you dance, remember to go counterclockwise quite a lot, because in voodoo, everything's kind of like the other side of a mirror. It's a mirror image, so you want to go left and you want to go counterclockwise, and you want to do the spin, and you want spirit elements to come in. You want an automatic right, you want to remember your dreams, you want to cook for the spirits, and you want to connect around the world. And I say that you have to work with earth because you're on the earth and made of earth. So we open the gates. We're going to leave them open now so that you can have Q&A time, and then we'll maybe do a couple more spells. Does someone have a question? And let me see if I can.
I have a question that's like kind of off topic. It's about the Grigris.
Sure.
So I thought you did say it must be an uneven number, right? That's what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Usually. I mean, it's kind of hard. I also mentioned that there's not an exact number that's in there because sometimes, though, people will count the bag and what the bag is made out of. They'll count the thread and what the thread is made of. So you have to kind of remember where you start counting. But if you have to, don't worry about counting like that. That's worrying about the wrong thing. What you want, in general, you must remember in the end, there's only one thing in there.
Yeah, you have to mix. They're all mixed together to become one.
Right. It's one spirit. So how you get there isn't as important. So don't worry about every little, detail like that. Okay. The uneven numbers of the knots that you tie in it and stuff like that. But, if for you the marriage of, for example, quick answer, love, of rose and rosemary as your first main ingredient don't seem quite right because you're also wanting a baby, let's say, in there, fertility in with the love. You might want to put that rose and that rosemary over a peach pit and make that one, and then that becomes another one. So it's not all 2s and 3s. It's just the way you do it. So don't worry about the numbers. Worry about the blending and the awakening. I think people worry about details too much. They're afraid they could do something wrong, and we forget the big goal.
It's missing the bigger picture there.
Yeah. People are always, how do you spell it like this or like this? And, what do I do? It's like, no, just go. Just try to learn to trust your gut, write down things that happen that feel right, that went wrong. Not every working is going to work right. You learn just as much from your mistakes as you do from other things. And you find that no matter what you do, no matter how you plan, for some reason, every time you do this, you can only use this amount of things, and that's maybe what you're supposed to do, Like, I don't think it would be that devastating. But yeah, the even numbers, I don't know. I think it seems like there's always going to be something else that's added if it's even. If it's uneven, it can end. Numbers are a very tricky thing, in the world to study numbers. They have their own life, so you can go crazy trying to study about why with numbers and why this, and, why is there a 9-day ritual? Why is there an 11-12? Why is it 11-teen and 12-teen? Why do they do these things? They're crazy. Any other questions? We got Sandra, Margaret, Matt, and that's the only names I see. I know we have more people. You can ask me a question. Okay, where are you from, Matt?
The greater Pittsburgh area.
I couldn't hear you.
So, I'm from the greater Pittsburgh area.
Pittsburgh, okay.
Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. There's a topic to talk about, not Pittsburgh. But you use steel dust a lot in New Orleans Voodoo. All right? I actually had some steel dust at one point sent to me from Pittsburgh. But steel dust, it strengthens you. It's for strength. So when there's a metal in a lot of Grigri bags, you add steel dust. And I guess I'm not stereotyped, right? Steel is a big part of Pittsburgh still, or it was, right?
It was. Definitely in the history.
You need to go get some steel dust. You need to go buy something old that was steel and grind it down. You need to use that in your workings because that is something that was very big and part of the spirit of place there. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's other things Pittsburgh is known for too, but it's important for you to work with that method.
Yeah.
Just for a quick example, is there a time of the month that's best for cleaning crossroads? Probably not your time of the month. Any time but your time of the month. But there are certain good things that are for your time of the month, but that's all menstrual blood magic. Is there a time of the month that's best for cleaning crossroads? Well, if you're trying to get away negativity and bring in new, you could do that, I guess, on the waning moon, and you're at the end of the waning as it's beginning to start again. However, Saturdays, sometimes people just go by the night. You know, Saturday's a good time for this kind of thing. So you can just time of the month. I mean, you might go with the moons. It depends on your menopause took care of that. So then you're okay. You don't have to worry. I mean, I don't go by much that, but there's some other magics that I'm working with now. They're like, you can never go when you do that. I was like, yeah, I don't have to worry about that. But no, but there are certain things, though, that I would say that you wanted to have that power of the blood as a woman to empower in a ritual with you. It probably would have been a cleaning ritual with something to build and bring, but yeah. You can pick your own day or go with the signs of the moon. If you're an astrological person, you may look to see what the planets are doing at the time in order to get assistance from that. I am not as much of an astronaut of that as I should be, astrology as I should be or could be, but you can incorporate that in it if you want. But I just say that you do it. So you pick a day that would be good for you. We usually do it at dusk or at night, though. We do wait till the nighttime to do it. So basically, going to a place, we usually have a candle and a jar of water, and we do the four corners. We spin, we put a little water, we orient the candle, we sweep up the old dirt, we replace it with the little glitter, we make a loud noise, sing a song, go on to another crossroads. We do it as a procession. You don't have to do that. What I'm trying to get is a bunch of people doing it around the same time. So if you want to think all of you as Saturdays would be a good time, if we knew that other people were doing there, we'd be connected with the power of the crossroads in many areas, cleaning at the same time so it would be noticed more. You know, so let's just say Saturdays, as it's always the Saturday before Easter for the big rah-rah. We can do little ones other times. So Hannah, where are you from again?
I'm from Florida.
Okay, Florida. So
yes,
you would, let's say, you would probably work with sand a lot, right? Because you're
I have a beach 10 minutes from me. Actually, I was just there the other day, and I got some seawater and some sand and some shells.
Shells, so you would use shells, and you would obviously use sand as some of your earth, not only your earth, but mix the sand with that. And sand has a lot of, I guess, crystal, silica, all kind of other things in it as well. So you'd be working with that. As far as your metal, I don't know.
I'm not quite sure about the metal.
But you got, obviously, the earth is easy to work with. You use beach earth, and you use shells. Yes. And shells are communication. You know, the more swirly parts they have in. We used to put shells in graveyards, big shells when you wanted to communicate with the dead. It's like an earlier kind of telephone system or something. So you would use shells for your candle holders. And we blow the conch for agua, which we talked about last week for the water.
Yes, I found a shell, and I was thinking of you when I was at the beach. I was like wondering. I was like, how the heck? How do I blow in this thing?
Well, they actually have to do something so it's blowable. Like they have to make a hole on the other side. Yeah. There's something you got to do to it that I got someone else to do. I don't know how to do it. I'm sure it's online.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's it's not that easy. But yeah, but you obviously would work with sand as well as work with shells and find out what metal would be good around you. I mean, not that I was looking for a metal for him, but when he said Pittsburgh, that's the only thing that popped in my head, you know. And steel dust is a thing. You want to magnetize that steel dust too. You want to put a magnet in it while you keep it in a jar to keep it activated, by the way. Margaret, where are you from?
Omaha, Nebraska.
I know nothing about Omaha, Nebraska.
Corn.
I was about to say, unless it's corn. And corn is a big thing, right? There's a lot of rituals that people do with corn. Corn is very sacred. I know you use the corn cob as a base and as an offering for a lot of things. You might get a corn cob pipe because tobacco is a very benevolent spirit that people use to give as offerings to other spirits. So you could smoke it in a corn cob pipe. You can use, as you know, you can make your dolls out of corn husks, right? Dry them, wet them, put them in a shape of what you want to do. So that is for fertility of the fields as well as healing. So you want to use corn husk. You want to use the corn cob that's chopped down. You could attach feathers and do certain spells with that, almost like an effigy or a doll. So you want to use the corn and the fields and the earth together. So you could use the corn husks to wrap the food offerings in, like I did with the banana. And you could use the banana.
We got soybeans too.
Soybeans. Well, soybeans are a huge financial commodity for some reason. So you dry out those soybeans and you would use them in prosperity rituals. Beans are very big to use in rituals. We use cowpeas, which are black-eyed peas. We use the fava bean, which is that lucky bean of Jack's magic bean, at the St. Joseph rituals and for Loco, because that was the food and the sustenance that helped people survive when there was famine. So we always carry those or give those, keep in your wallet and in your freezer so you'd always have food. Soybeans are actually on the New York Stock Exchange, right? Money. Remember, your beans are your money. Your corn is your spirit, you know? It's also your money and fertility, because we use cornmeal, right, to make our veves and all that. So corn is real big for spirit work, and soybean is kind of, and beans in general. Some of them are for healing, but they're also for money. 4,000 acres of cotton. Well, that's right. Cotton was very big growing there, made it a big money. Cotton is very pure, very important to use. Raw cotton with the seeds still in it. It's abundance, it's wealth, it's money, it's comfort. It was shipped all over the world through New Orleans, actually, Alabama, Mississippi, where it was grown, was brought here to be pressed and, you know, sent to the rest of the world. And was it your family or someone else's family? Because that's really cool if you're on your own old family farm. That brings a lot of empowerment in and way to connect with your ancestors directly. So you're in your own family home. That's really great. You got your ancestors, your bloodline all around you, actually growing like in that field, right? So you have use the cotton seeds that are in there. When you use that as a base of your creek, like I go get a moss and open it up and put it like a nest. You get your cotton opened up, put it in there, tie the darn cotton without putting it in a bag. And the cotton is actually, you know, not only an ingredient, but it is the container for your gree-gree or your mojo that's right there. It's grown by your family. Go to the older part of the area. You definitely need to dig a hole and feed into the center of your field, and then pull all that energy towards you and into your bag, and you put it in your pocket so that when you leave, you're carrying all that empowerment with you, connection and knowledge of those that are come before. So that's great. I mean, to have that kind of energy that everybody's been in the same family home for a long time, which is not quite. But yes, so you'd work with ancestors in cotton, and some would work with steel, and everybody would work with what they've got and what, you know, the spirit of place seems to dictate. I'm sure somewhere around you in Alabama or anywhere else at American Indian sites or some old sacred sites or PowerPoints or that you can go to, falls, rivers. You would feed that river by your family home. You work with so many things that are there. You had to work with the bones instead of the stones. I guess y'all are big with the coyote.
Yeah.
You deal with all of that. So, and there's also the beach. So it's pretty eclectic there on what you could choose. But yeah, the spirit of place needs liquor. It is used to liquor. It's used to partying. It's used to people. It's used to that. You know, I have to literally go give liquor out on the streets, not to the people, but to the spirits, to keep some of that energy alive that it was used to, the partying, the festivity. Fortunately, some people are, if we could just be nicer to each other, that may help things too. Oh, Mother Earth, please pardon our mistakes, and we ask that you show us the way gently. We ask that you keep us, even though we may be nuisances sometimes upon your skin. Show us what we need to do. Help us work with you so that we can connect and heal each other. We open the gates with Papa Laba, and we're going to close the way today. In the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, the Maras, and the mysteries and La Mort. This time we see you here in New Orleans and all around that we mention the cities that we're from. And next time in Guinea, Ashe. Aye, Bobo. Amen. Hey, anybody else got one for the road?
I actually have a question. The High John, is that easy to get? Or can you get it in like oil form?
Yes, but I don't know if I would trust commercially. I may have some oil. I have to check. See, the way I do it is I put the actual High Johns in the oil in a bottle for a year or so, take it out so it really has the energies of it. Usually you actually want to get the root instead of just an oil. You can get little teeny tiny ones. I've got some. I keep saying this, y'all got to tell me if you want me to send you packages of things. So I was trying to think of little ways. Okay, you want a gree and a High John and a this and a that, and it'll cost this, and I'll send it to you. So I have little ones if you're not looking for one as big as that you saw because you want to carry something small. I haven't, there's like High John lotion, but it's like commercially prepared, and it's not really, not lotion, but it's like
There's a bunch of crap in it.
water. You know, it's like a rose water, but it's not even a water. It's just, yeah, it's synthetic.
Yes.
You know,
What type of oil would you use if you were to, make some of your own?
Well, you'd have to have the High John. And I always work with extra virgin olive oil. So that's me personal. Other people use different carrier oils that they prefer, but since extra virgin is also a very healing thing, I've always used extra virgin olive oil, and I will just let it soak in there. So it gets fed while it's soaking, and the oil, it gets infused with its energy. And I put a whole bunch in a jar. So this one's kind of big. You know, I've had a much bigger one before, but I've got some really tiny, a fifth this size as well. So they're all different sizes of them, and sometimes they're hard. I do it yourself. Yolali Mamzel Marie, Marie Levo, Yolali La Grand Zambi, Yolali Mamzel Marie. Bless all friends and patrons so that we bless the puppies that are there. Open the way and close the way. Ashe!